Alright, just a quick overview. So, Great League is coming back in a little bit over a week. So, October 26th to November 3rd is going to be the Halloween Cup. And then after that, you're going to see all leagues come back from November 3rd to November 9th. So, if you want to go, after Halloween Cup is basically going to be all 3 leagues. So if you want to do one more day of Halloween Cup, just do all your sets before 1 p.m. Just a good note of that. So November 3rd to November 9th, and if you want to do one more day of Halloween Cup, just do your sets before 1 p.m. PST, and you guys will be fine. As far as rankings go for Great League, this is probably going to be the biggest focus, is because a lot of you are going to be like, oh, is the meta going to shift? Kind of. So, if you noticed already, there's one notable addition, and I've made like 6 videos on it before, but it's Surfetch. Surfetch now breaks the top 10 in PvP. Now, if you've noticed, a lot of things that are out here are also Machamp, and basically like 3 fighters are on this list. Scrafty, Surfetched, and Machamp. Now, the thing about Azu is you're probably going to still see Azus running around. Azu's still really, really freaking strong. Like, it's still, like, the king of, like, safe switching and just annoying everyone and everyone trying to counter it. Now, here's the thing. Surfetch being in the meta really matters a lot, because the meta might shift to a very fighter-heavy meta. So, if you use anything in the lead or anything in your team is really weak to counter users, which, like, I do, because I use Shiftry, then you might want to try to figure out like whether or not people are going to carry in the lead, the closer, etc. Because if your team's really weak to fighters, like I said, like my team that I run in Ultra and Great League, I'm gonna have to figure something out, because I can't run that one mon. You basically have to have checks against fighters. Now, what that means is that can also be a Twilight, because as you've noticed, if those of you that play Go Battle League a lot, other than what content creators do, it's usually what types go out. So if I see fighting, you're probably going to see a lot of flying leads too. So if you use grass leads like I do, you might want to think about your life choices. Anyways, that's pretty much what it is. It's going to turn from a fighter and flying heavy meta, plus everything you saw before. So you're gonna see pancakes, you're still gonna see Azu, and it's just an absolute nightmare, basically. But if I could predict accurately, and I'm pretty good at doing that, you're going to see a lot of fighters, and you're going to see a lot of flying types. Especially when people start figuring out that Surfetch can actually beat Azu. Yes, Surfetch can actually beat Azu. In the lead, Galarian Stunfisk ranks at number 1, which is kind of good. Because, like I said, you're going to find things that are either going to counter fighters or things that are going to counter flyers, because flyers are going to be running around rapid. So what do? You use Steel. Or you use the most overpowered pancake in all of the game, Registeel 2.0, known as Galarian Stunfisk. And as you see here, Galarian Stunfisk actually takes your soul, and he just does a lot. He does so much damage. It's so good. It's so good. Now, that being said, the leads don't change that much. Like I said, fighter heavy meta. As you see, Surfetch enters the top 10 as one of the top leads in the game. So, you got Blig Boo Buddy, you got the Mana Flying Ray of Death, and then you have G-Fisk. Where Mantine Mantine's actually pretty dang good. Mantine actually beats G-Fisk, it beats Skarmory, Altaria, it can even beat Surfetch. So, Mantine can beat Surfetch. And, of course, you have things like Altaria, and like I said, fighting. Like I said, fighting or flying heavy meta. Just to counter whatever's going on. That's what you're going to see in the league. Your safe switches are generally going to be the same. So, you're going to see a lot of Deoxyses, of course, G-Fisk, Galvantula, Mew, everything you saw from before, you're pretty much going to see more of. Or, like, you'll see a lot of, like, safe switches that really try to counter fighters, well, that just means more Azu. So, in all reality, because Azu is like the primate of safe switches. That or Sableye. But the thing about Sableye is Sableye loses to G-Fisk and Azu, etc. So, that's saying Sableye is bad, but like you can expect to probably see a lot. You'll probably see more Azus because Azu does check flyers and fighters for the most part. And now your closers. What's going to close you out? Obviously, Azu is the strongest thing in the top 10. Like I said, there's nothing like Azu is just so oppressive. It's so powerful. It beats G-Fisk. It beats Skarmory. Those are two of your major threats for your flyers. Or if you want to like, I don't know, if you want to wall... Well, you don't actually... So you beat Surfetch. That's the thing. The biggest thing that's going to shake up this meta is Surfetch. So now we go to part 3, Surfetch. So these are your lead closer switches. I didn't spend too much time on it because you're going to see the same things plus a fighter, flying, whatever counters fighter. So a fighter / counter fighting meta. That's what's going to happen. Because once people start figuring out that Surfetch is actually a freaking monster, then you're gonna want to like either have one in your team or find countermeasures against it. So Surfetch is the big focus of this for multiple reasons. One, it's an amazing lead. It generates a lot of energy and it actually beats a lot of things just straight Leaf Blade. If you haven't seen my Great League Surfetch analysis, I definitely recommend you take a look at it because this thing is nuts. For example, let's look at Surfetch versus Azu. Now, this is what I mean. Surfetch can actually beat Azu. How? You see this? You run the simulation. As you see here, you beat it into 2 shield, or you beat it up a shield. Now, in the 2 shield versus Azu, you go straight Leaf Blade, and you're still left with 10 HP, plus a Leaf Blade to throw at the next mon. So, as you see here, you throw your Leaf Blade, you counter it down, they never make it to the 3rd Ice Beam. That's nuts. With that Leaf Blade, you can do chip damage on whatever comes in next, or, yeah. So a play you could actually do, and this is what I've been touting, is that you can actually do a Leaf Blade, so you can actually, like, Surfetch is a great lead and a closer. So if they safe switch their Azu into, you can actually throw Surfetch into them. Even if they do one more bubble of damage, as you see here, if they get one more bubble, so like, let's do the energy here and say they have starting energy of 11. You still win. Because as you see here, like even if they're starting out as 11, bubble is a 3-turn move, so they will never get to another Ice Beam. As you see here, you'll still beat it in a 2 shield. So even if Azu does have starting energy, you still win this matchup. So there's a lot of plays you could do with Surfetched. I may or may not do a video on one. I don't know. We'll see. But Surfetch is really powerful because of the fact that it can beat Azu. Not a lot of things not a lot of fighters can like convincingly check Azu. Not even Shadow Champ, because what Shadow Champ has to do is Shadow Champ has to round a Rock Slide in order to beat Azu. So that's why Surfetch is just such a monster. You really want to watch out for Surfetch running around because it's going to bring it to a very fighter-centric meta, or things that are going to counter fighters, if it's not already, like, volatile enough. But that's basically what I predict the meta is going to be, and it's pretty accurate. Now, that being said, like I said, you have to have countermeasures against fighters users. My recommendations for a team, obviously you're going to have Azu in it, but, like, in a team, just have something that checks fighters or flyers or both. Have something that checks both of them or gives you an advantage, because if you're a fighter, you have to switch out because Altaria and other things are just really bad. In summary, Great League is going to be very, as you know, very chaotic. Now, obviously, they're being a top team breaker for like GBL on multiple occasions. If you analyze the patterns, it's going to be, like I said, fighter heavy, flyer heavy, or anti-fighting flyer. And of course, Azu's gonna run around everywhere. That's basically my prediction. Once people start figuring out Surfetch is really broke, then they'll start you'll start probably seeing Surfetch more. Actually, just because of sheer popularity, you're going to see Surfetch in Great League probably a lot more. So definitely have countermeasures against Scrafty, or like Scrafty, Surfetch, fighters, flyers. Obviously, you're going to see Azu running around just because it's really good. In other words, Great League is going to be the meta will shift again, Like, it's probably not right away, but then once everyone starts figuring out how good Surfetch'd is, then they'll start using it a lot. Anyways, have a great day, you guys. I hope you enjoy. I hope you guys have a great day, and start formulating your teams now. If I had to run a team, I would run something with Azu and G-Fisk in it. Well, that's pretty obvious. Azu G-Fisk is a very powerful core, but like, just because Azu checks your fighters, G-Fisk checks your flyers. So it's a very good core, and it's going to be very good in Season 4 when Great League comes back. So just keep that in mind. Alright, you guys have a wonderful day. I'll be doing a lot more of an in-depth like analysis on like other things versus Great League. So Surfetch, I already did all my Surfetch analysis, but basically that's what like my recommendations. Count anti-fighter, anti-flyer, and then something in the back. And you guys have a great day. I hope you guys do. Yeah.